It's a key election battleground, the future of the NHS. In a moment, we'll look at what the political parties are promising if they come to power. But first, what are the growing challenges facing the health service? Carl Mercer has been finding out.
Yeah, if you roll this up, that's great.
This is a process that hasn't changed much over the years, and nor, it seems, have the frustrations of the capital's GPs.
Pathé News visits a doctor in a North London borough who shares with his two partners a large and mainly working-class practice.
Fast forward to today and listen to the views of Adrian Richardson, a GP for 30 years. His Willesden practice nearly shut last year as partners left and the workload and paperwork increased.
Over this period of a year, these things crept up on us. It was like rolling down a hill and thinking, I can escape the ravine ahead, but the ravine was coming closer and closer. So we lost 2 partners or 3 partners, and we also lost a number of clinical and administrative staff as well.
Across London, nearly half of GP practices have a doctor who will retire in the next 3 years. A similar number have GP vacancies.
The mood of GPs is grim. For years and years and years, particularly in London, they've been underfunded and just about managing. For the last 2 years, we've seen a dramatic decline in people's morale and their willingness and ability to actually manage.
If you've been inspired as well.
If primary care is finding it hard, the battle over the future of hospitals continues. Across the capital, there are 5-year plans for the future. Many involve changing or closing services. Many face plenty of protest.
We're seeing rationing and, in some cases, complete withdrawal of certain NHS services, ambulance services, A&E closures, GP closures into the hundreds. And we're seeing levels of understaffing, which means that wards are struggling to keep their patients safe.
This protest in Hammersmith reflects many across the capital, but experts say there may be more pain to come for London's NHS.
The gap between what London needs to treat its growing population, who have increasing expectations and for whom we can do more, is around £4 billion by 2021. The parties are all pledging additional money for the NHS generally. None of these go anywhere near closing that gap.
If the money isn't forthcoming, changes to services may well be. Carl Mercer, BBC London News.
Well, our reporter Helen Drew joins us now. Inevitably, the main issue when it comes to the NHS is funding, isn't it?
Yes, and all parties are promising more money for the NHS. Independent surveys say that Labour's promising slightly more than the Lib Dems, slightly more than the Conservatives. But pretty much everyone in the NHS says no one's actually promising enough to help with the current funding gaps. Now, in London alone, every year, £18 billion is spent on the NHS. And health bosses say if they carry on doing everything exactly as they are at the moment, in 4 years' time, there's going to be a gap of around £4 billion in their finances. That's before they've rebuilt or repaired any hospitals where they need to.
And it's not just about funding, though, is it?
It's not just about the cash. It's about changing services. And this is where it gets controversial, Alice. It's about moving things like accident and emergency. There's a campaign in South West London at the moment against that. It's about moving or changing things like maternity services. Now, with this kind of thing, clinicians will always say that it will provide a better service for patients. But critics will always say that it's only happening because of a shortage of funding. We're going to be hearing more about this. It's not going to end when the election does.
Helen, thank you.